This high school teacher makes thousands of dollars each month, giving Labubus a makeover with real tattoos, piercings, and grills.
When I'm like tattooing him, I'm like, dang, he's going through it. Like that's gotta hurt.
By the time Ellis Stephens finishes customizing this roughly $30 Labubu, he can resell it for more than $200.
I'm sitting back and I'm just hearing orders, on my phone go through. I would say this is crazier than Jordan's.
Chinese retailer Pop Mart has been selling Labubus since 2019. They helped the company more than double its revenue in a year. Now Pop Mart is worth more than Mattel and Hasbro combined. When new ones are released, they sell out within seconds. And they've gotten such a massive following on social media that even celebs and athletes have started dangling them from their bags. Which is why the resale market is so competitive. Prices for rare characters can skyrocket to as high as $30,000.
I'd buy these on the street. It was really hard to get them for a minute. And I had 70 orders and I'm like, I need these, please, whatever you need.
Now people like Ellis are building side hustles around the collectible. But they have to be careful because fakes known as Lafufus are on the rise too. And like Beanie Babies and Furbies, the hype could collapse, leaving collectors stuck with worthless toys. So why are customers willing to pay hundreds for a custom plush? And will this craze last? Ellis Stephens started his side hustle to pay for supplies for his art classroom.
In my first year of teaching, I think I made $43,000 here in the Bay Area. It's hardly $20 an hour. Every time I wanted to do a project, schools never had money. I sold bracelets, burritos, and tacos just so I can have $80 by the end of the week to fund a cool project. So my student was like, you got to get on these Labubus because they're hot and you're always into reselling. And then I started to customize them, and that's when the money changed.
One of his customizations is tattooing, another skill he picked up in 2022 to make extra cash.
I saw the Labubus as a canvas. The biggest thing is not to dirty the hairline because that's almost impossible to clean. But the technical skill, this would be the hardest part. The damn hand. The hand is hard vinyl. And the hard vinyl, once this little single needle hits that, if you're going a little too deep, it's just gonna jump and it's gonna skip. After doing hundreds of these, I'm still trying to figure out the best way to tap the hand. So we're gonna try this. Oh God, the pressure. Look how little that is.
One customization can take Ellis up to an hour, so he usually only has time to finish half of his 10 daily orders. They've gotten so high that he's had to pause orders for a few days to catch up.
I'm just in a vicious cycle of having to create. That's a hell of a custom. When I tell people go crazy, sky's the limit, this is what I'm looking for.
Ellis tattoos any design customers requests, but adapts it to his style.
This is also a really cool one. This person added a whole bunch of stuff and it has a great story tying to their dog, their personal tattoos.
Right now, he charges $217 per custom, but he wants to charge $300 eventually.
It just happens that the Labubu, you're in a very exclusive group. Now you have your tattoo Labubu, and now you're in a really exclusive. And then now, you have a tattoo Labubu from me. Now you're really, really exclusive. And you got to pay for exclusivity, right? That's what it is.
Labubu started out as a storybook character, dreamed up by Hong Kong artist Kasing in 2015.
A Labubu is a weird little monster. They have weird little snaggletooths, and they kind of look like they're up to no good.
In 2019, Lung teamed up with Chinese retailer Pop Mart to launch Labubu as a collectible. The monsters were sold mostly in blind boxes, so buyers had no idea which Labubu they'd get.
You're taking the gamble that hopefully I'll get the brown one or I'll get the fuzzy one. And I think that really does something to people's brains where they get really excited about it.
I'm gonna close my eyes and pull it out.
Okay, close your eyes that way.
your whole goal is to get that one rare one, and you're willing to like spend thousands to do it.
The rarest ones, known as secrets, can be nearly impossible to find, appearing in just one out of every 72 blind boxes. That's why they can fetch over $1,000 on eBay.
We live for like the uncertainty. I'm gonna take this leap of faith, this $40, and hopefully it's the green one, and it's like not. And like, oh damn, let me do it again.
The limited supply has created a frenzy, with new drops selling out almost instantly.
Labubus were huge over in China and in Singapore months and months and months ago, like almost a year ago. And then it migrated over to the US. You hear about like crazy lines, people camping out overnight.
Huge crowds and reported brawls even prompted Pop Mart stores in the UK to temporarily halt sales.
We also see this fascination online with people doing unboxings. You experience it with them. It's definitely become, I think, a real cultural moment. And people want to participate in cultural moments.
Now Labubu is Pop Mart's most popular blind box toy, and it's helped make the Chinese retailer more valuable than Mattel and Hasbro combined. We've seen this level of toy hype before.
It's insane. They wait 4 hours outside a department store and they crash in like cattle. They're dolls and they're just adorable, but I can't imagine people behaving that way.
Every so often, you get a toy brand that captures the broader imagination. We had Tickle Me Elmo, we had Cabbage Patch Dolls. They provide a marker at a specific point in a time and a culture, so people can say, I was there when, and that they can feel connected to other people who love them as well.
But some of these fads burn out just as fast as they blow up. In the mid-90s, collectors swarmed toy stores for a chance to get a limited edition Beanie Baby. In 1998, its creator, Tying, sold over $1 billion worth of them. They became so popular, a rare plush toy bought for just $5 could resell for thousands. But by the end of the 90s, interest faded, and an oversupply caused the value of Beanie Babies to crash. That left collectors with nearly worthless stockpiles of plushies.
We've coined a new phrase as the rise and fall of the beanie gamblers, because the speculative craze just bottomed out and crashed.
Now, Beanie Babies are still made, you can still buy them, but they haven't become the cultural touchstone.
Today, Labubu's hype is also partly driven by scarcity. But Pop Mart has made a few decisions to give it some staying power. It's specifically marketed to older audiences.
They're also at a price point where it's like maybe a little too much for like a throwaway toy for a little kid. But if you're an adult who's like, oh, I want to get something silly from my bag, like that's a pretty decent price point.
Fans typically wear them out in public instead of keeping them on shelves.
I have mine on my work bag, and I see tons of people on my commute now on the New York City subway who are in like suits and fancy dresses and whatever with Labubus clipped onto their bags. They can at least be kind of like loved and worn down in ways that like a collector's item Beanie Baby can't.
Ellis says Pop Mart's real advantage comes from how it leverages social media.
Early 2000s, late 90s, like we didn't have like the instant Instagram posts that can reach millions of people literally in hours. Pop Mart and Labubus, like they have that at their fingertips.
For now, the Labubu craze hasn't died down, which means Ellis has to hustle for new inventory.
I buy these on the street. I'm paying street prices. I'm not waiting online and getting a ton of them. I'm like calling resellers up who do that. I'm paying what everyone else is paying, sometimes even more.
Today, Ellis is on his way to meet one of his suppliers to pick up new stock.
We meet at a parking lot just so that we can keep everything safe. This is the Wild Wild West out here in California. Like you can easily be robbed or beat up and your stock taken. There's always reports of people stealing Labubus. Even if you leave them in your car dangling from the rearview mirror, they'll break your car windows out and steal them. What's up, bro?
What's up, bro?
How are you, man?
How are you?
Thanks for meeting me. Okay, I'm gonna get 15 sesame seeds,
Yeah.
sesame beans, sesame seeds. Anytime I see a box, like if I see this yellow barcode, it's normally directly from Pop Mart. Never gotta worry about it being fake.
Just 15 of these Labubus cost Ellis $675.
I buy for like 25, 30, and I sell them for 65.
Jefferson Lee has been in the resale hustle since 2016. Every month, he drops around $2,000 on software that buys Labubus the instant they go live. And he makes around $24,000 reselling them.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll meet up again soon. Definitely gonna hit you up.
Some people say this kind of mass buying and reselling is unfair and think it should be banned.
Say the early bird gets the worm. That's it.
Ellis buys up to 60 Labubus a week to keep up with demand. The prices for them can change in an instant.
Some weeks they'll just go crazy because a celebrity opened one on camera, and then now everyone wants the pink one, right?
Fake Labubus called Lafufus are also on the rise, so Ellis is willing to pay more to buy from sellers he trusts.
One time I spent like $3,000 just to get authentic. But that last, 60 orders, then I never have to worry about anybody telling me like, hey, the one you tattooed and customized is fake.
Demand for fakes remains high because they're cheaper and easier to find.
They want to buy the Lafufu just as much as they want to buy the actual Labubu.
Chinese authorities have tried to crack down, seizing tens of thousands of them at airport customs in 2025 alone. Pop Mart also added scannable QR codes in 2024 so people would know they were getting the real deal. But dupes are still flooding the global market. British authorities have seized thousands of fakes and warned that poorly made parts can break off, posing a choking hazard. Many fans are ignoring these concerns and even bracing the dupe's visible flaws.
Because it's so funny tearing open a Ziploc bag and holy smokes, this thing looks horrible. That's hilarious.
So this is my Lafufu. It is pretty horrifying. And then this is my actual Labubu. This one, it actually looks more like a guy. But I love them both, and they are friends.
Ellis thinks there's room for both too, but he refuses to sell dupes.
I've only met one reseller who sold me fake stuff. I called her out on it and was like, I need my money back. And she was, okay, you're not scamming me. You're gonna be scamming my customers and my buyers, and I can't have that. I'm not gonna cut corners when it comes to creating my art. Even if it takes longer, even if it takes me digging into my own pockets or losing profit, and being able to have a product and whatever I'm selling be 100% is much more valuable than me saving $10, $15.
Labubu's long-term success may hinge on how well it adapts to a market that's always changing.
A fad is something that happens in a very short amount of time, an explosive flash. A long-term toy is something that is evolving over time to change to reflect a changing culture so that it stays relevant to different children and different populations as they come along.
They've probably been compared to Beanie Babies every single day, every single waking hour of their production, and they're like, we're not gonna be that. It's not gonna be another trend. And even if it does become just another trend, I feel like they'll figure something out. The great thing about it is it runs the line between ugly and cute, like a Frenchie. And we always wonder why people like Frenchies so much, because they're just awkwardly cute, but then also very ugly,